So I took a pretty normal white canvas and put a nice layer of burnt sienna on there. Since this painting has a nice brown undertone. So that's our base. Just flat brown the whole way. And then using a big round brush and all sorts of combinations of yellow and green. The yellow being a cad yellow, in this case deep, and the green being a mixture of that yellow together with phthalo blue. Adding black for a darker, adding more yellow for lighter, and just pressing the brush onto the canvas to make some fuzzy lighter areas, darker areas, to give the impression of tree branches with leaves. And thinning down some brown umber with liquid or oil, whichever one you have. You can put those branches on top. Trunks, branches, depending what kind of tree you want to make, then that's the type of branches you put in. There's all different styles. Over there you can see I put some red leaves, and this is like a fall autumn kind of painting. So I used the palette knife to scratch in a little bit more twigs and branches for some extra texture. It's always fun to do that. If you put down enough paint, you can scratch some off. And once again, using the palette knife and the dark brown, we're putting in the roof of this mill. It's in a few sections, and the front part I used some sienna to make it a bit lighter. Here's the actual, this huge wheel on the side, the part that gets pushed in the water. This is how they used to harness water energy in order to grind their grain. And we'll put some down on the bottom, and that will be our future reflections. So in the meantime, this is just basic shape that is dark, and we're going to, on top of it, still using the palette knife, add the detail. So using a big brush again with some sap green and yellow mixture, we will put in some grassy areas. And make sure to follow whichever way you want this land to go, which is basically downhill towards the water, but that's also your choice. If you're painting this, you can make whatever dips and curves you want in the land. So here we have just straight white paint, and we're gently touching the roof, making little boxes that look like shingles, and making sort of lines to look like the boards of this house. And also cutting some lines into it. Up there is a touch of orange. It gives the wood a more old, worn out look. This part of the mill, some of the boards go horizontally instead of vertically, but the roof shingles are pretty much the same. As for the one all the way back there, now here we come to the actual mill part. These different areas of, I'm not sure what, some kind of scaffolding, I guess, and the big huge wheel. So we're still using the same white and just putting in those wooden boards that make up this whole mill with the palette knife. There's the circular area and all those small step-like projections and the inner wheel part. And there's our watermill. So underneath there are some, I don't think it's bricks, I think it's like rocks one on top of the other to make small walls. And we'll do that with some brown and white and green mixed together. And now I'll put in the reflection in the water with the white. They should try to look pretty much the opposite of what's up there. And it will get somewhat blended out later, but you want the basic idea. And we'll just continue to do that throughout the whole watery area, which is whatever is left that wasn't yet painted on. Is all basically the water, and the reflections of whatever is on top should be reflected down into the water. So try to align the colors and the basic shapes so that it looks like it is sort of makes sense. Now this little thing over here on the left side, it looks sort of like a tunnel inside the land. I guess some kind of underpass, overpass, a bridge holding up some land. I'm not sure what. And that was black and moved it over with white. Also just stretching over the white paint on top and letting it break. Very, very gently touching so that it forms all these little crevices and cracks. And here we're just adding some more brush detail with some red to give it more interesting, colorful look. Here is the waterline. I'll put that in with a palette knife and more white. And try to give that line mass up front some structure. And here we go with a 2-inch brush, just bringing all the reflections down into one watery look from up to down, so they all flow in one direction. Hope you enjoyed watching. Check out my other wet on wet landscape paintings. And have a great day.